Hey guys, Ralph here, and welcome to True Power Health on this wonderful Wednesday here in Connecticut. Life's good, guys. Life is good. Anyway, you saw the thumbnail. The Pritikin diet. Excellent. I did one on Pritikin 6-8 months ago. I'm not even sure. I don't keep track. And I had Pritikin diet, not bad. Since that time, I've upgraded it to excellent. I've had a change of heart. Actually, it's very, very good. I don't do it 1,000%. The True Power diet is pretty much Pritikin or starch solution and raw till 4. They're all very close, but let me explain. First of all, I'm going to say it was approximately 52 years ago when I first moved to New York to go to college. And at the time, up to that point, I was pretty much a year-round athlete. Baseball was my big thing, but I quarterbacked the football team and I played basketball, and you know, everything just led one thing into the other. There was no downtimes when we didn't have an official practice or a game. I was up, to the YMCA playing. Very, very active. Very active. Back then, we didn't know from carbs and fats and starch. We didn't know. We didn't know about supplements. We just plain didn't know. So I pretty much ate what I wanted. And I was so active, I never had a weight problem. I never had a weight problem in my life. I really did. I've gained weight before, and I've sort of wanted to do that and see how it felt and experiment and all this sort of stuff. I think that's one of the reasons why I happen to be so good at this, is because every single thing I've talked about, not only I've researched it in an academic sense, I've researched because I've done it. I've done paleo. I've done keto. I know what it feels like. I've done Atkins. I've done Weight Watchers. I've done everything that I talk about. So when I say ABC stinks, I'll tell you why. The research says this, and Anyway, I have very much first-hand experience with the literal Pritikin diet. Now, again, about 50 years ago, 52 years ago, I moved to New York City and began college. And being so active all the time, I didn't have a weight problem. Well, all of a sudden, I go to a music conservatory and I stopped doing all the working out and everything. Remember, we didn't know. We didn't know. I just stopped it, and I was practicing 3, 5, 8 hours a day and going to school and killing it and being a bohemian, struggling musician and all that sort of stuff. And for the first time in my life, I gained weight. It wasn't a lot. But geez, my jeans were tight. I had no energy. A splitting headache often in mid-afternoon. What the heck's going on? At that time, the running craze had begun in New York City. Remember, I lived right in Manhattan, right in New York City. And everybody was running around the reservoir in New York City. So one day I cut class. I wasn't feeling well. I put my Converse Chuck Norris Converse All-Stars on. They weren't even running shoes. And I went up and I ran around the park, and I loved every bit of it. Every step I took, I was hooked. I was hooked. Chuck Taylors. Chuck Norris. So anyway, I fell in love with it. And like everything I do, I jump in 1,000%. And I wanted to get better. And I thought diet could help. And back at the time, there were 2 diets. Pritikin diet and the Atkins diet. The Atkins diet was a high-fat diet for the muscle heads, supposedly high protein, build muscle. And the Pritikin diet was a high-carb diet for the runners. I chose the Pritikin diet. Guys, I was on it for 20 years, and I had tremendous results. Okay? I was rail thin. Now, I was running a lot. I was running about 70 miles a week consistently. Okay? I ran a lot of races. I ran some marathons, the whole 9 yards. So there was a lot going into my physique other than the actual diet. But it gave me all the energy I wanted, high carb. It was wonderful. Now, back then, and still to this day, everything was calibrated in fat content. It wasn't necessarily carbs, or, well, it was carbs. It turned out to be high carb. But that's not necessarily what you were thinking about. You were thinking, you checked the label to see how much fat was in a serving. At that time, it was 1.5 grams per serving. If it was that or less, it was good. Now I understand they're up to 2 grams. Okay? 2 grams, 1.5 is not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But here's the kicker. Back then, that you allowed a 1/4 pound of lean red meat a week, preferably chicken. Okay? Preferably the white meat because it was lower in fat than the dark meat. Okay? You were allowed fat-free yogurt. Okay? And you allowed 1 serving of salmon or other sea fish, not shellfish, per week. So that gave, what it was is you were allowed a burger and you were allowed some salmon and some yogurt, fat-free yogurt. So between the meat and the salmon, that was your fat intake for the week. And the fat-free yogurt, everything else was fruits, veggies, and grains. And basically my daily fare was this. I would get up and I would eat shredded wheat, okay, or oatmeal with skim milk. I remember the dairy, we weren't sweating it because there's no fat in it, okay, and with some fruit, and I would have 2 dry pieces of toast. That would be approximately 400 to 500 calories. And I was fine until lunch. Lunch, I would have a salad. No oil dressings, but it's just a big salad, usually vinegar and a little salt. Salt was not a biggie, so I kept that to a minimum. And when I came home, I had an enormous plate of pasta. It was about 2,400 to 2,800 calories a day. And with all the running I was doing, I was stick thin. And it was wonderful. Now, since that time, I got into the Gary Null thing for quite a while, which is more of a Mediterranean diet. It was higher in fat and the olive oils and stuff like that, the healthy fats, which I've since gotten away from. And as you know, I'm sort of a raw till 4 thing now. But I looked back at it and I read the book. It was, oh God, it was ancient. The pages were just like falling out of the book. I must have read that thing 50 times. And I said, geez, you take out the meat, dairy, fish, this is pretty much what I'm eating. This is the starch solution. This is not quite Kempner, but it's very, very good. It's very good. So for the next month or so, I am going to eat Pritikin, and I'm going to keep you abreast of how this goes. And I will let you know how it works. I've been doing it for 3 days. And I feel terrific. I feel absolutely terrific. I like this. I like the cereals in the morning. I really do, as opposed to the fruit. Now I eat plenty of fruit. I put fruit in my salad. I put fruit in my cereals in the morning and everything. I feel terrific. I feel terrific. My energy levels and everything, sleep like a baby, the whole 9 yards. So I'm going to go with it, and I'm going to let you know how it works out. But so far, so good. Now, if anybody is watching this and they don't feel like they can do the vegan thing, okay, meat, dairy, fish, go check out the Pritikin. It's limited, 1 serving of meat, 1 serving of salmon, okay, and some non-fat milk and non-fat yogurt. It helps out, and there's a lot of nice recipes and everything, guys. It's not a bad halfway house to get to vegan. And I'm telling you, after a while, you do not miss the meat. And before you know it, you've gone a couple of weeks without that 1 order of meat. Gee, that's not bad at all. Check it out. Check it out. As I said, I got tremendous results with it for about 20 years. And I'm going to go back, get the The True Power diet. I'm calling it the True Power diet, but it is the Pritikin diet without the meat, dairy, fish. Now, the meat, dairy, fish, and everybody said, well, great, Ralph, meat, dairy, fish. The portions they allowed you are so slight, it wasn't a big deal at all. All right? All right. Anyway, give it a shot. Give me your comments and criticisms down below. Let me know how it works out for you. I bet you'll like it. I bet you will like it. Anyway, eat and drink your fruits and vegetables and your grains, and live your life with true power. Love you all.